We have more breaking news tonight. America is on the verge of martial law, according to Governor Newsom of California, as Donald Trump federalizes the National Guard of Texas and is sending federal troops to Chicago and Oregon from Texas against the wishes of those governors and without even notifying those states that a federal invasion is taking place. That was the word Governor Pritzker of Illinois used to describe what Trump is doing. Guys, he's doing a military takeover of our country. That's what he's doing. Appears to be illegal. Court in Oregon yesterday said it was illegal, said it was akin to martial law, and that under the Constitution that wasn't allowed, certainly for the fake excuses Trump was giving, claiming that there's international terrorism afoot in every state. He means Democrats, and he said it today. Trump at the Naval Academy literally said the Democrats were a gnat that they needed to get rid of. How exactly is he planning on getting rid of us, Donald? This is incredibly dangerous, guys. We're entering a really dangerous territory here. I am really not sure what we do.
It's all quiet here now, but the DOJ says hundreds of Illinois National Guard members could be in the Chicago area as soon as today. Texas Governor Greg Abbott tweeting this photo out of his own troops boarding a plane to be deployed to other states. The White House says the National Guard is coming to the Chicago area to protect federal agents in response to anti-ICE protests and violent encounters with agents. The state tried to stop it yesterday, but a judge denied Illinois' request for a temporary restraining order and scheduled a hearing for later this week instead. Several members of the Trump administration are also said to be coming to Chicago, including the FBI Director Kash Patel. Mayor Brandon Johnson says he stands by his performance.
It's illegal, unconstitutional, it's dangerous, it's wrong. This is not about deportation. This is not about safety for this president. This is about authoritarianism. It's about stoking fear. It's about breaking the Constitution.
And back out here live, DOJ attorneys say Illinois National Guard troops could be out on the streets by later this week, protecting federal facilities.
We have some major news right now. Donald Trump is moving closer to invoking the Insurrection Act of 1807, as Texas National Guard troops have already been deployed and are on the ground in Chicago as we speak. If you don't know what the Insurrection Act is, it essentially allows the president to give the power to the military to conduct law enforcement activities, make arrests, for example. This has only been invoked once recently in the past 30 or so years, in 1992 during the LA riots. It's such an extreme measure that it's so often rarely invoked, ever, by the president. And so we're at a situation where Donald Trump is gearing up to invoking the Insurrection Act to allow military to turn on American citizens. And, well, unfortunately, there isn't much outrage about it right now. It's getting normalized. And it's getting normalized by media who just really kind of brush off what's happening in this country. It's important that we don't normalize it right now.
What's the secret? Why do you want to keep this secret? The American people don't know the rationale behind the deployment of National Guard troops in my state. The word is, and I think it's been confirmed by the White House, they are going to transfer Texas National Guard units to the state of Illinois. What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
Breaking overnight, hundreds of Texas National Guard troops are now waking up in Chicago. President Trump deploying troops to Democratic-led states, overriding those states' governors who say the troops are not wanted or needed. President Trump threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act, which would, in extreme circumstances, give the president the power to use federalized troops for law enforcement on U.S. soil. The president says the troops are needed to protect federal property and employees in Chicago and other Democratic-run cities. The governor of Illinois, though, says the deployment is a, quote, unconstitutional invasion by the federal government. Now, like Oregon, Illinois has sued against the deployment, but a judge did not block this deployment.
The Texas governor said yes to Trump's call to deploy the Texas National Guard to other states. Here's what's happening. Governor Greg Abbott said Sunday night that he's authorizing President Donald Trump's call to send up to 400 members of the Texas National Guard to Chicago and Portland. Abbott posted on X, you can either fully enforce protection for federal employees or get out of the way and let the Texas Guard do it. The deployment is part of Trump's push to protect ICE agents in those cities, a move that's already sparking backlash. Illinois' governor called it Trump's invasion, saying it's outrageous to demand that one state send military troops into another. Meanwhile, the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, signed the order saying the troops will deploy immediately for at least 60 days.
National Guard, our elite National Guard in the state of Texas, began their deployment as they were loading on planes in Texas, boarding for flights to parts of the country where they will be able to safeguard ICE officials and other federal officials as they try to enforce the laws of the United States of America.